Jerry was a young man with a difficult upbringing, growing up in the harsh streets of New Mexico. Life had never been easy for him, but he refused to succumb to the challenges that surrounded him. Despite the harsh reality of his circumstances, Jerry held on to a glimmer of hope, dreaming of a better life for himself. As he entered his 20s, Jerry found himself drawn to the allure of the modeling industry. He believed that through this line of work, he could escape the poverty and hardship that had plagued his earlier years. The idea of being admired and celebrated, even if only for his appearance, gave him a sense of purpose and the hope for a brighter future. However, as time passed, Jerry's dreams began to crumble before his eyes. The modeling industry proved to be more cutthroat and competitive than he had anticipated. Despite his best efforts, the offers for jobs became scarcer, leaving him feeling depleted and discouraged. Feeling the weight of desperation upon his shoulders, Jerry's friends proposed an alternative way of making money. They told him tales of older women seeking the company of young, attractive men, offering financial stability in exchange for companionship. It was an unconventional path, but one that promised a way out of his financial struggles. Intrigued and with no other options in sight, Jerry reluctantly accepted the offer. Soon, he found himself meeting with a well-off woman named Kalsy. At first, their interactions were purely transactional, with Jerry playing the role of a charming, attentive companion. But over time, a strange bond of trust developed between them. Kalsy's guarded walls slowly came down, and she confided in Jerry, sharing pieces of her life and secrets she had never revealed to anyone else. Jerry, on the other hand, played his part flawlessly, concealing his true intentions. He listened to Kalsy's stories, offering a comforting presence and a sympathetic ear. He became someone she could rely on, someone who seemed genuinely interested in her well-being. One fateful day, when Kalsy was overwhelmed with loneliness, she let her guard down completely. The weight of her isolation became too much to bear, and she sought solace in Jerry's company. Believing he had built a strong foundation of trust, Jerry seized the opportunity and made off with a large sum of money she had hidden in her house. In a rush of adrenaline and desperate hope, Jerry fled the country, thinking he was safe from the consequences of his actions. Little did he know, Kalsy's connections extended far beyond the borders of New Mexico. She was a mystic, belonging to an occult organization that delved into ancient magic and revenge. With every passing day, Jerry's life in his new adopted state became increasingly difficult. He felt a spiritual weight pressing down upon him, suffocating his every move. The money he had stolen proved to be a curse rather than a blessing, and everything he attempted seemed to crumble before his eyes. As Jerry made his way to the store one ordinary day, a random woman named Rebecca crossed his path. There was an air of mystery surrounding her, and she made an audacious claim to Jerry by saying with a bizarre voice, "An evil spirit is hovering above you, affecting every aspect of your life." Intrigued yet skeptical, Jerry brushed her off as a mere charlatan. However, Rebecca's persistence and persuasive nature led her to reveal a truth that froze Jerry in his tracks. "The lady you took the money from," she began, her voice laced with a mix of eeriness and certainty. "She has put a hex on you, and I'm the only one who can remove it." Curiosity mingled with fear compelled Jerry to listen attentively to her words. A twisted tale began to unravel before Jerry's eyes. Rebecca, an individual with her own nefarious motivations, offered him hope through her association with dark sciences. In return for her financial support, Jerry found himself involved in rituals and experiments that veered into the forbidden realms of magic. Days turned to months, and Jerry found himself entirely dependent on Rebecca. He became entangled in the web of her manipulations, her promises of salvation overshadowing his every action. However, as time passed, he began to see the true nature of her intentions. The tides began to turn, and Jerry sensed his life spiraling further into darkness. One day, Rebecca declared to Jerry that it was time for him to be initiated into her occult group. The price she demanded was unthinkable. He would have to join and offer up his own son as a sacrifice. Jerry's heart recoiled in horror at the suggestion, his love for his child outweighing any temptation for personal gain. After weeks of contemplating the offer, he vehemently refused, for he could never bear the thought of such a heinous act. Unable to convince Jerry to join the occult, Rebecca's fury knew no bounds. In a final act of revenge, during a seance, she put another hex on Jerry, sealing his fate to be alive up to his birthday. With no other options left, Jerry resigned himself to the notion that his days were numbered, with his approaching birthday marking the end of his life. Desperation consumed him entirely, and in a final act of hope, he sought out his enigmatic uncle. His uncle, revered for his knowledge of the occult within the family, listened intently to Jerry's plea. Understanding the gravity of the situation, He provided Jerry with references to individuals who resided deep within the mystical jungles of an unknown land, people who could possibly help him break free from the curse that had befallen him. Fueled by determination and a love for his son that burned brighter than ever, Jerry embarked on a perilous journey through the dense jungle. The path was treacherous, filled with unimaginable challenges and unknown dangers. But with each step, he grew more resolute, knowing that his son's life depended on his success. After what felt like an eternity, Jerry finally reached the dwelling of a wise shaman. The shaman, attuned to the mysteries of the world, listened intently as Jerry poured out his heart, explaining his dire situation. With compassion and wisdom, the shaman devised a plan to break the curse that had stifled Jerry's existence. Through rituals and ceremonies performed over several days, the shaman worked tirelessly to lift the dark cloud that loomed over Jerry. With each incantation and offering to the spirits, Jerry felt the weight on his shoulders dissipate, and a renewed sense of purpose surged through his veins. In a moment of profound spiritual awakening, Jerry understood the power that resided within him all along. He had overcome the darkness that had threatened to consume him, and within him lay the strength to protect his son from the clutches of the occult. With gratitude in his heart, Jerry bid farewell to the shaman, the jungle, and all the despair he had left behind. He returned to his son with newfound determination, promising himself that he would never again succumb to the shadows of his past. From that day forward, Jerry dedicated himself to building a better life for himself and his precious boy. He strived to create a future free from the clutches of both the occult and his difficult upbringing. With each step he took, he was guided by the lessons learned, the darkness overcome, and the love that fueled his every endeavor. And as Jerry walked into the sunlit horizon, carrying the weight of his past like a distant memory, he knew that he had finally found the strength to rise above his circumstances and forge his own path to redemption. If you're interested in sharing your story, kindly email us at etherealcrossroad@gmail.com. Remember to like and share, as your testimony could aid someone else. We'll see you next time at the new Ethereal Crossroad for another live life story.